Hi everybody, Sagittarius998 Adam, and I'm going to record the second to last of the Beginner's Guide to South America. This time it is Argentina. So, Argentina, street view, everywhere, basically. More or less everywhere. It's really everywhere. Higher density up in the northeast, up in this area, because there's a higher population density. So, as far as terrain goes, mountains in the west, mountains a little bit in the south as well, south central. You've got Patagonia, you've got the desert, you've got mountains there. It's dry, it's a cold desert, but it's rocky in here, more kind of Icelandic look down in the south. And then up in the north, it's just mountains. The mountains along the spine with Chile, the further south you go, the wetter they are. So up in the north, it's the Atacama, it's very dry. Down in the south, it's actually quite wet, much like Chile in this area. Then you've got a few mountains just near Cordoba. These are often forgotten about, but they are there. And of course, a little bit of mountainous sort of, it is mountains, but it's not super big mountains. It's kind of rolling mountains up in the northeast, the Misiones province. This part of Argentina is much like Brazil, more than so. There's tons of clay in the soil. It's like Brazil. It's not at all like other parts of Argentina, but it is Spanish speaking, of course, and it actually has a high Polish population, about 25%, which is just an interesting tidbit because I don't think it's going to help. So yeah, in terms of landscape in general, Misiones is more interesting because of all the clay, dry along the spine, then wetter down in here, but dry throughout the center. And then sort of temperate grasslands, the Pampas right in the middle by Buenos Aires, and up here a little more wetter. So with that, let's jump into a challenge. This is just a Argentina challenge selected at random from the seeds. No, it's not. This is the wrong thing. Hold on. Browse maps. Sorry about this, but I already started, so I'm not going to scrap that. So, okay, there we go. Argentina. Where is it? Here it is. If you want to play along, you can copy that link yourself manually. I don't know. Okay, here we go. This time Argentina for real. Okay. 3 kilometers is something. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's all good. There we go. That was just one momentary frame. Okay, so what can you tell instantly? You can tell it is grasslands and flat, mountains to the west. Mountains to the west, grasslands and flat. I suspect we're somewhere by San Luis, perhaps. Those mountains are the Cordoban mountains, and we're in here. So this is my guess, somewhere in the Cordoba region. With Argentina, the big thing that you can look for is road signs down at the ground level, saying what road you are on as well as what kilometer you are on. These are in black and white. They are not present on every single road, although, well, actually, they are present on all roads, more or less, or at least provincial or national roads, but sometimes they're not at all intervals. And so you won't always see them, but they're a good rule for Argentina, and most of the time they will be present. If not at every kilometer, then at every few kilometers. Did I press to go back to the start? No, I didn't. Okay, thankfully not. I mean, it wouldn't have been too bad, but we've already gone like 2 minutes. Why waste the time? That sign was useless. Okay, well, yeah, so, I mean, the first step that you would look at, obviously, is those road signs down at the bottom. I don't see any. However, you have other stuff that can be helpful. Intersections can be helpful when you get into towns. Rio Tercero is possibly the town that we are approaching. I don't really see a town, but eventually we'll get to a town, is at least the thought. For some reason the movement is a little laggy with this. I mean, it always has been, for like, just because of the new motion. But the Pampas, like this region, it's, you know, you've only got this, because here it's already Patagonia, like Neuquén and Bahia Blanca, it's already much drier, so we're definitely up in the northern part of it, not as far north as the Formosa province, which is this, so I think my Cordoba guess will be good, but we'll see. We'll definitely need more information out of this, for sure. Thankfully there's no time limit. Okay. Yeah, the problem with Argentina, and I've addressed this before, I think it's the Russia of South America. And by that I mean it's tons of open space, it's very big, and yeah, I mean the road signs are better in Argentina than in Russia, for sure, because the Russian road signs, you don't have the route number. The route numbers are irrelevant in Russia, by the way. You really have to look at cities, while in Argentina you have route numbers. So, but in other respects, though, it is very similar. Similar landscapes sometimes, and similar middle of nowhere, much like Russia is very often. So something Lewis something. I don't think this is helpful. Levi Soldani, on Cativo and Rio Tercero are the cities, towns that we are approaching. So I could zoom in and see, is there a Rio Tercero? There's a Rio Cuarto. Rio Tercero. No, but that doesn't mean anything, really. It means I just don't see it, but it could very well be here. Just, it might even be on the map and I don't see it. So I need to continue on and hopefully get to Rio Tercero. I don't know if I'm going in the right direction. If you know area codes, there's a bunch of them. I don't, and frankly, I don't think learning area codes is that useful. Learning area codes can be good for 3-level challenges. For example, Japan, it's very good to learn area codes. It's not really useful in Argentina and other places because you're not going to remember all of these rules for the area codes. And it really doesn't help, especially when you're just playing 2 challenges. So don't worry about area codes. I'm not planning to learn them. No, pretty much no one knows Argentinian area codes unless if you're Argentinian, I guess. So the big key is first looking at landscapes and then those markers. So the fact that there is no marker on this road means that it's more than likely a provincial road. Provincial roads repeat by province, and they will less often have those black and white markers. Which is also unfortunate because they're the hardest ones to pin down, usually. Although, I mean, if you had a number, it wouldn't really tell you anything, unless you also had the province name. So, it's not really a huge thing, but provincial roads will be in green squares versus those shields that you see, which are national roads on the map. But provincial roads can still be in those black and white squares, not to confuse you. If it says RP, that means Ruta Provincial, or provincial road. If it says RN, then that means Ruta Nacional or National Road. So that's the way you determine if it's a provincial road or a national road. And yeah, I'm not really sure about why there's so much lag. I mean, it's definitely been present for me for some time. And part of that is just the movement. The movement's so bad. Okay, so I appear to be coming into a town, finally. To be fair, I'm not... Yeah, it is a town. It looks like it is. So what you look for coming into a town? The town name. It is listed at the end, as opposed to Peruvian towns and Peruvian, Bolivian, yeah, pretty much those two. As opposed to Peruvian and Bolivian towns, Argentinian towns will have the town name as you come in. It will also have Zona Urbana or Fin Zona Urbana once you're leaving. That just means end of urban zone or urban zone. So that should be, that's irrelevant, obviously. Unless you're driving, at which point it is relevant. So, yeah, so Rio Tercero is in 22 kilometers. And this is Corralito. See, so it's like Europe in that respect. Oftentimes it won't actually say you're leaving Corralito, but you will see the entrance sign. So you can always rotate around and look for the entrance sign. Usually, yeah, for some reason it doesn't list the road, because oftentimes it would list the road as you are leaving if it doesn't have them on the markers. But here it doesn't. It just lists Rio Tercero and Corralito. Or Rio Tercero and 22 kilometers as you leave Corralito. This is a decent sized town, actually. Far better than I expected, to be honest with you. So I have hope. Cordoba, told you, it's Cordoba. Cordoba is here, of course, and we're south of it. There's Rio Tercero. I bet that was on the map. And that was south. Where is the Corralito? So the reason why it didn't list those kilometer markers is because it's not even a provincial road. It's a nothing road, is what this was. So we started on a east-west stretch. Which one do you think? That? No. That? Maybe this. That would be bad, because that would mean that we wasted a lot of time. No, it might be this. It might even be the... I'm gonna say it's this one. It was the other one. It was. Should have gone to Rio Tercero. Well, it is what it is. But ultimately, yeah, it's just a matter of pinpointing. Okay, so what do you see here? It's drier. However, it's still... This looks drier, because it is, but this is still fairly lush vegetation. So this is not Patagonia. This may very well be up in the north, close to the Paraguayan border, because even there it can be pretty wet, or pretty lush vegetation, but that can stretch down easily down into, well, I don't know, I mean, down and through here, even Bahia Blanca, in through here, all of this could be there, but right now I've placed my bets a little bit towards the north, I think, even though that seems counterintuitive, maybe. I think it's the right thing to do. I will say this is a repeat. It's a repeat. I've definitely had this location before, but I remember it wasn't a challenge that I started and then I never finished, so I don't know where this location is. I just recognize the location. So, now this could be a provincial road. However, usually you will not see provincial road markers on the dirt provincial roads. You might, again. There are certain things that are a little ambiguous when it comes to Argentina, but you will generally not see them on dirt provincial roads. You have to get to asphalt before you'll see markers on the side of the road, the ones in black and white. Now, you may see markers listed in other forms, but not the typical Argentinian markers, which we haven't seen yet in this challenge, but are extremely helpful when you do see them. So there isn't really much happening in this direction, but I will continue because I remember there wasn't happening much in the other direction either. And what you see here is dust. If you're on a dirt road and you don't know what direction to go, / you don't see a direction to go in that's preferred, go towards the dust. Dust means the Google car came from that direction, and it means that there's going to be something, and obviously there could be a dead end because they removed some pictures. That's a possibility. But generally you will hit something eventually. Of course, you might hit something quicker the other direction, but you may very well hit a dead end as well. So it's a risk you have to take, but more times than not, it pays to go towards the dust cloud. That's just general advice, not necessarily South American specific. Once I crest this hill, I'll see what... I mean, there's nothing out here. I don't feel that the other direction is going to be fruitful. And, my advice is to go in the direction of the dust. It's just, I can see for miles and there's nothing. Although, you have a little, I don't really know why, the road splits off here? Or is there a weird median? Can we go in that one? No, we can't. It will join back. Yeah, it joins back there. I don't know why someone did that, but apparently that was what it's doing. The road was a little too narrow, I suppose, for 2 cars in that spot, or 2 if there's trucks and stuff. Yeah, so you can see that this direction, you can't see much of the dust, but this is where the car came from. You can also tell because if the car is going this way, it's traveling on the right as opposed to driving on the left. So that's one way you can tell. You can also do the converse of that, knowing that it's Argentina. If you don't see a dust cloud, this is where the dust cloud would be. Now you can see it, but simply because of the fact that it's driving on the right. So there is a there is a settlement. There is a settlement here. It's small, and it's very small. It's like a few houses strung about on this road. There's no real town center, nothing indicating a town name. I mean, it's the middle of nowhere. Right, it seems more northern, but admittedly I'm not sure. Okay. Los Talas, that's the farm name. I see that's not helpful. Possibly helpful in pinpointing, although that's probably not going to be labeled. I don't know that these, considering businesses have to be selected or someone has to add them, it's probably not going to be labeled on the map when it comes to pinpointing, because I doubt people here they might have internet access, but there probably isn't any internet access in the middle of nowhere, rural Argentina. I mean, there's no infrastructure here that you can see. Now, this location isn't the best for displaying anything, but you can tell landscape-wise it is dry, but it's something that's telling me that it's a little bit more north than you may believe it to be. You don't see any mountains. There's no mountains. There's just rolling hills. And That's a little bit more common, I think, in the north, but this could easily be down, I mean, not in the south, but as I said, like down by Bahia Blanca. I could totally see this being there as well. I'll give this until 250. If not, I'm just guessing somewhere in Argentina, because, I mean, sometimes you just get locations so difficult, you know, that you just have to guess. I mean, ultimately, I've said all I can say about this location, and I don't know that's interesting to continue on, considering this isn't about the score. This is about just introducing you to Argentina. I've suddenly made it out onto a paved road. Wow. And there's these, which are, they're distance markers. So Ojo de Agua is in 32, Araga is in 206, and San Martin is in 177. I'll check down south first. Hold on. Ojo de Agua. That's probably not. I should probably look for Araga. In here? Maybe. San Martin. I don't see it. So now the important thing to do is first check the other direction, because it might say what's in the other direction. Well, it says that I came from San Francisco de Chañar in 23 and Mansilla in 117 kilometers. I would not want to drive 117 kilometers on that small road. And I don't mean in Geoguessr, for sure not in Geoguessr, but I wouldn't want to do it in real life either. So here, you would think there would be those black and white markers. And there might be. So I'm going to go a little bit and see if I can find some. Because if I find those and it's a national road, then we're in business. If not, or if it's a provincial road, then, you know, it's not really going to matter. I don't see any. Hold on. There's a little bit higher mountains in the east, but that means nothing. Vicente or something was one of the towns. There's Ojo de... Oh, Lucio Mansilla. That's one of them. It was 117 Cruz de Eje. Is that one? No, that's by Cordoba. Mansilla was one of them. I was on a dirt road that went to Mansilla. Oh, this one? This one, yeah. No, well, that one ends, so much for that one. Araga, there's Araga. San Francisco de Chañar. So I started here, which means we're also in the Cordoba province. I don't know where I started. That's somewhere there. Oh, no, this one. Okay. That probably makes more sense. So, also in the Cordoba province, just like the last one, but again, more towards the north. The north in this part. In this part, it's a little wetter. In this part, it's a little... It can be dry, but at the same time have somewhat green vegetation. So that's something to look out for. This, on the other hand, is sort of just flat and standard. Again, Pampas region. I hope not all of them will be in the Pampas, or just in the flatlands, because then kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. But maybe this one will have some other features to point out. No signs on the side that I can see at the moment. This does look like a provincial road simply from the painting on the road and the road quality, rather. When I see this, I don't think of a national road standard, but it could be. These stone markers actually are not relevant. These actually, it's not even a marker, it's a culvert right underneath the road, so don't pay attention to that. There's another type of culvert. In Argentina, you don't get stone markers at all. All you get is the black and white metal signs on the side. And we had bad luck where 3 of the rounds so far out of 3 have not had them. I'm sure they would have been accessible in the second round if I went a little farther, but we found it anyway, more or less. Okay. So now you see that there's nothing. Again, it's the middle of nowhere. It's just in some ways a representation of Argentina, because Argentina has so many of these middle of nowhere locations. Like I said, it's like the Russia of South America. But you have to push through them, and the towns aren't that far spaced apart usually, in fact. So even in a 5-minute challenge, when you're in middle of nowhere Argentina, you can often get yourself over to a town or some sort of important signage, an intersection, and get clues. Like here, there's a intersection with the Provincial Road 3. So okay, that's not really going to help, but maybe there's something more. You see these are big. Rural National 5. You might ask, that's a little bit like Uruguay, and in fact it is, but sometimes you just have to feel it a little bit, you know. So it's not what I wanted to pull up. There we go. Hopefully, yes, it should be working. Still recording? Still recording. Okay, National Road 5 runs 3411. There's no pattern, so 5. There we go. There's 5. So Uriburu and Atreuco on the Provincial 3. Well, I can look for the Provincial 3 because we're going west. 65. 14. Oh, we're 40 kilometers away from the thing. So, Provincial 3, you would think would be already visible, but it's not. Maybe it's here. Well, that's the same province. I don't know. Hold on. What is in this? Via Maza, Catrillo. What road am I on? I'm on the 14. I'm on the 14. South/west. 5130, 41. Much like the 14. So really now, I mean, it's looking for that 14 and so on. Which, there it is, 14. I mean, there's a 14. It's not crossing the 3 at any point, though. Manuel Riglos is in 18 kilometers east. Okay. Explain how this works, then. Because there's no 3 that I see. Uriburu is there. Oh, there's the 3. Tiny, sneaky, but it's there. That's the 35, though. That should say 35, not 5. Or it's the 5 and 35 together. Maybe. I don't know. So you're like here. Oh, 4 kilometers away. Yeah, that's just a matter of pinpointing. But as you saw, a little bit further down, but similar landscape. All of this area looks more or less similar. All this is the Pampas region. As is this one. Feels a little bit more north, but that's subjective. I don't really think that's... It's wetter, but that's because it's just been raining, it looks like. Road quality is atrocious, though. But I'm coming up to something because there's street lights. Yeah, there's an intersection here. So I guess I have to hope for round 5 to not be in this type of environment. Okay, so it's the Ruta 90 in the Santa Fe province. So my northern instinct was correct. Hold on. Santa Fe. Yeah, it is. Santa Fe is this one. So it is. I was confused with another one. So it's Ruta 90. I must be crossing the 90 because I don't think this is the 90. Else that would be, yeah, I'm definitely not on the 90. I'm crossing the 90, which means that I was on going to Maximo Paz and Alcorta from the 90. The 90 isn't a thing. Right, so I was on the provincial 90 then. Yeah, Alcorta, Maximo Paz. I must be crossing the 18. Could that be it? It could be. Is there a town? There is a town. I could see this being the case. I'm gonna make the guess, and it was correct, more or less. So again, similar style landscape, a little wetter as well by the river, the Paraná. A lot of that is kind of hard to tell. So unfortunately, same style of landscape in round 5. However, what should be noted here, so you have directional signs. Yes, Langeo is in 4. But we need to look for the black and white markers, since we haven't seen any yet in this challenge. And I really want to point them out because they're essential for Argentina. If not, I'll just show a picture of them after we finish this challenge. But I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a waste, this challenge, as a whole. Hopefully the Brazil seed at this point. Maybe in the Brazil introduction, there will be a little more representative seed. Okay. So trucks are not really worth looking at. This one has a weird picture on the back, actually, but generally it's a super old one too. Yeah, it is. Wow. Yeah, trucks in general aren't really worth looking at in honestly anywhere. Even in Russia, you get Polish trucks, so on. So trucks are not the best. I mean, if you see nothing else, then you can try to use trucks to find where you are, but I would normally not recommend that, simply because trucks move so much. Okay. There's some stuff here. There's a gas station or a rest stop type thing. Yeah, gas station. So unfortunately, this road also seems devoid of those black and white markers. It's strange because it's rare for me to find roads where there aren't any markers, and yet here every single one did not have them. It's a little strange. Okay, I'm gonna continue on this way. I feel like there will be a town. As I said, you usually within 5 minutes you can reach a town. Not always, but in many rounds that is going to be the case. So yeah, there's a little bit of lag. Towards the horizon, it looks like there's some sort of building, perhaps. I'm hopeful that there's a building, because really, I want to figure this one out quickly. These introductions shouldn't be too long, and honestly, especially since we've seen this type of region before, it's really not worth the time to spend too much on this. So I'm hoping something shows up quickly. It was not a building. Well, it actually may have been, but it's not a town. No, it's just some trees. Okay. I'm going to proceed on, though. You've got a decent score. I guess we can continue. Just flat, nothing. Very symbolic of northern Argentina. Bomberos Voluntarios, volunteer fire department. Criolla is the town to the right. So, yeah, okay. You're 73 kilometers from the Plaza Hotel. This one, yeah, Ayacucho, 3.5. Well, we can't go that way anyway. I almost would want to go to Ayacucho, because it's better than this road so far. This road has been nothing. That's the sign. I'm sure it's a, yeah, volunteer fire department. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing here. Okay, there's something coming up. Partido de Rauch, Zona 5. I have no idea what that means. I've never seen that before. Okay. We are gonna go north of Villa Maria. Nope. A little bit to the southeast. Should have gone north, apparently. Angreu. Or did I go north? Yeah, Criolla. I went north. I bypassed the 60. Seems like it. Yeah, there was nothing. Nothing visible there. Okay, yeah, it's 2740. It's not about the score. So, now I basically have to show you everything else in Argentina, since the challenge provided none of it. So, on big roads, you will see black and white markers that signify what route you are on. They come every kilometer, since they are the kilometer markers in Argentina. Sometimes they will say norte or sur or something, that you're going north or south and don't have the road number, but usually they do. Here we go. Finally, that's what it looks like. Ruta Nacional 8, National Road 8. If it's a provincial road, it says RP. So that's what they look like. If you see those, it's in Argentina. The south of Argentina is different. It's dry desert. Rocky in many parts, actually, kind of like this. Wide open desert. And then down in the real far south, you get this cold desert, Iceland-like landscape. So that's, I guess, I have to show the mountains too. The mountains of Argentina in the south can be, this is not the best image, in the green. So, and through here, for example, here, that's a photosphere, but you sort of get the point. Yeah, here, this looks like Chile. This looks, I mean, because it's right next to the border, but it looks like Chile does in this part, because it is wet, while the mountains up in the north are very dry, like this, and rocky. While the corresponding Chilean mountains are a little bit more, they're still pretty similar, but they're a little bit wetter because of their whole rain shadow thing. So, that's more or less the northwest is also maybe worth noting. It can be kind of lush like this, but you see more mountains towards the east often, or the west, because there's a lot of stuff in here in the valleys, and then you get dry stuff in there. The green also corresponds well in this part, right in through here, as to where you'll see lush vegetation versus desert. Just something to keep in mind, and it wasn't the best challenge, simply because of locations, but, you know, ultimately, hopefully it was entertaining / educational. And until next time, see you.